Hi, my name is Eric Prehn. I work at the Johnson Space Center in Houston as an electrical and thermal systems instructor for the International Space Station program. And what that means is that I train the astronauts who fly on board the International Space Station on how to keep the power and cooling systems working properly while they're up there. Well, I've always, for as long as I can remember, ever since I was a small child, I've always been fascinated by space and by space flight, so I've always followed NASA very closely. When I was a kid, I went to space camp and did all of the space geek things that you're supposed to do when you're a kid. I got directly involved with NASA when I was in graduate school. The company that I currently work for was actually recruiting in a lab group that I happened to be working with at the time. So when given the opportunity to actually get a job doing the things that I'd always wanted to do, I just jumped at it. Since I've been working here, most of my time is spent training different groups of astronauts. The most recent group of new astronauts that NASA selected a couple years ago is highly involved in their initial training. I was also the lead instructor for the training of the crew of STS-133, which was the final mission of the Space Shuttle Discovery. Right now, I'm currently focused on training the crew for Expedition 38, which is a space station crew that will fly at the end of 2013. To be perfectly honest, I get to play with astronauts almost every day, and that's incredibly exciting to me. Not only meeting all these people who do all the things that I followed and dreamed about when I was a kid, but being part of something that's not just about the American space program, but something even bigger than that. For example, the space station crew that I'm training right now will include the first Japanese commander of the International Space Station, so being a part of something that stretches really across the entire world is really exciting, and I just love doing that every day when I get up. I apply things that I learned in school every day. Because I was so interested in space and science as a kid, I took all of the math and physics courses that I possibly could when I was in high school. And I was a physics major in college and then got into engineering in graduate school. So obviously the technical things that I learned apply very directly to my job on a daily basis. Some of the other things that you have to learn when you're studying a highly technical field in school, the self-discipline to be able to study efficiently, and even how to explain highly technical concepts to lay people who don't necessarily understand what you're talking about or have the same background that you do is very, very useful.